let's talk about now,
Okay.
where you're at now, which is really exciting. And this idea behind your new program.
Yeah.
I want to talk about two things. One is I want to talk about what you did, what we did on the first run. We got a couple more coming, but also who it's meant for and what you're seeing as a need out there right now for folks that are needing to hear what you're teaching.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, I'm passionate about God's word. I'm passionate about helping people, and I'm passionate about money management, stewardship related issues. Now, we both know that money is not the most important thing in life, but money does impact everything that is important. So when we think about our families, when we think about our health, when we think about our businesses, when we think about ministry, there is not an area in our lives that money doesn't touch. However, as important as it is, a lot of us aren't taught about it in a very practical way. So the beauty of this course that I am launching is it is for any and everybody.
Okay.
You could be financially frustrated, and this course is for you. You could be financially functional, which is probably, most people, they're making it, but they still aren't reaching their full financial potential.
Yeah.
Or you could be financially free. And I believe that this course covers the gamut from struggling to people who are financially free. And what makes it unique, I believe, is how I was able to incorporate biblical principles of finance. And these are the very things that I learned from Ron Blue and Howard Dayton and Larry Burkett and even Dave Ramsey.
That's right. I was going to say that earlier when we were talking about it, I don't think Dave was on the scene yet, or
Not
was he?
yet.
Okay.
He learned from those guys just like I did.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
they
so cool.
inspired him as well.
Yeah. And now we're doing this in 2025.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the principles and the application ideas that you have are as relevant as ever now?
No doubt.
Really? Yeah.
Maybe, what's interesting is when I was talking about this, 25 years ago, especially in churches, not a lot of people wanted to hear it. They felt like money was secular, money was carnal. That's not something that spiritual people talk about a lot. Even though all through the Bible, money and business and stewardship is one of the main themes. In fact, there are over 2,000 verses in the Bible that deal with how to handle money and possessions. 16 out of the 38 parables deal with how to handle money and possessions. So yes, I think right now, because of there's been so much wealth built, people have demystified the stock market and how to handle money. It's a common topic that everybody is interested in. And so I think now is a perfect time to teach people how to handle money, but how to do it without losing your soul.
Which is the name.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
What is the total name? What are we going with?
It's called Winning the Financial Game Without Losing Your Soul.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I love the money is sort of like a game. And I relate the whole course, the framework is football.
Yep.
Because handling money is almost like playing in a football game. You have an opponent. You have a certain amount of time. You have rules you have to follow. You have to do some pre-planning. You can't just wing it. And it's a battle.
Yeah.
And a lot of people lose the battle. They lose the game. And I try to teach people how to win. But one of the ways you win is by not losing your soul, which means not losing your values, not losing what's most important in life. Because as good as money can be, it also can be dangerous.
And you believe that's possible?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No
I think one of the cool things when we sat down, remember we got together for the blueprinting session with our Leader Pass Lab, and you were referencing Ron, who was it Ron Blue?
I think it was Ron Blue.
And or was it Donald Miller? It was Donald.
Oh, okay, Donald Miller.
Because we're talking about constructs.
That's right.
Remember we were talking about framework. So one of the
were.
coolest things that I think you did for this, that I think people will instantly get relating to the game, is putting on your uniform.
Yes.
So talk to me about, first of all, talk about what constructs are and why that's important. And I know we will have a mixture of people watching this and hearing you for the first time, as well as some who are like, do I have something in me that I can share?
Yeah.
And so I think this construct idea gave some handles
Yes,
in a
it
cool
did.
way. So walk through what that means to you and then what you chose to do.
Well, I learned how important this is from Donald Miller. I went through a course that he offered, and it was a game changer, because when I thought about most of the books that have had the biggest impacts on my life, it was either a story framework like Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep.
That's all based on a story.
Yeah.
Whether it's fictional or not, it doesn't matter.
Story, yeah.
He put it in a framework of a story. Or it is something that your mind can grasp very easily, like 7 Habits of what's it?
Highly effective people.
Highly
Yep.
effective people.
Yep.
7 things.
Yep.
You don't have to think about 12 things. It's just 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking for a framework, something that I could take these wonderful principles and put them inside of something where people could understand them very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to be reading, I believe it's Ephesians chapter 6, and I was reading about the armor of God, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith. And boom, I got this idea. Just like the Roman soldier has equipment, football players have equipment.
Yep.
And I said, man, what about if I relate financial principles to a football player's equipment?
Yeah.
And so I just kind of brainstormed for a couple of days. And so I came up with this framework of a football player's equipment, and each piece of equipment represents a financial principle that we have to learn how to master.
Yeah. And I love the way you did it, because we have a lot of ladies on our team, and you had in the room with us, and it was like, is this going to be too guy centric? And it's not at all. I mean, it's just a construct. Like you said, it's something you can point to a helmet. Everybody knows what the helmet's there for. And you just go through the whole, from the pads to the pants, to the shoes. And so I think it's brilliant. And I think it's going to help people remember, big time.
And they'll learn a little bit about football too.
They'll learn football.
That's right.
Some of those that may be in the SEC or aren't big Tennessee fans may have to look at some orange some point. There was a few moments where it's like, all right, here we go. But it's an excellent, easy to follow, but just really rich and deep in the principles.
And then I thought about football. I said, it's the most popular sport in America, and the Super Bowl is huge. So even if people aren't big football fans, everybody has a pretty decent knowledge of football. And so I just took each piece of equipment and related it to a principle of finance.
That's awesome.
The helmet, shoulder pads, jersey, pants, cleats, football, and then just the whole issue of hustle, how you have to give all out effort if you're going to be successful.
It's great. And I think one of the things I want to just mention or talk about as people are visualizing what this is, and we'll link to it so they can find it. But the difference between this in my mind and a course, we've used that frame, we've called that course. And I think courses sometimes end up sitting on a shelf.
No doubt.
And they collect dust. And it's like, oh, I'm going to learn it. And then you kind of forget about it and you go back. The way that the Leader Pass is laid out and the way you've done this, which you've been just such a great person to go, just tell me what's working. Remember, we had the conversation, like, how do I talk for 20 minutes or 30 minutes? And you're a guy who can deliver a sermon. So you got it spied on and can deliver the whole thing, but you were willing to go, how do we break this into micro lessons? And I think nowadays, not just because of social, which we're going to talk about in a second with the Stewardship Coach, but the fact is, it's not that the content can't hold up for that long. It's that our time's fragmented.
Oh, no doubt.
People are busy. People are distracted. But the way you lay this out with the playbook, the workbooks, the sheets that you have the ability for a couple to sit down and kind of go through. But the micro lessons lets people dip in and out.
Yes.
And you kind of take it at your pace. So talk about just that, the freshness of that. And that is something that's not like a classroom. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. Well, people's attention spans, including my own, have gotten really narrow. So we have to teach people in a way that they learn best. And so we broke up all of these 7 pieces of the equipment of a football player. So we have 7 primary financial principles that we'll be learning, and which within each module, which represents a major financial principle, we have probably anywhere between 7 to 13 micro lessons, which are only 4 to 8 minutes or so
they're brief.
long.
They're brief.
Very brief. And I just hit it hard. And then But it's not something that you just listen to and say, okay, that was good. We have a workbook.
Yeah.
You have to work through some of these things. If you're married, you have to talk to your spouse. If you're a parent, you have to talk to your children about it. So it's something that you learn, you listen, and then you do a practical application. You have homework.
Yep.
And then we're even going to have a small group component. You can do it as an individual, or you can do it within a small group context.
Yeah, which is excellent, because then you get to kind of bounce ideas. I think we learn in community and in groups. There's times for us to kind of break away and focus, or a couple, knowing what that feels like to go, you got to be on the same page.
Oh man.
And do you face that? I know you consult different organizations. You have counseled couples. You guys both do, you and your lovely wife. But what do you see when there's that? Because people are bringing past into this equation in a couple or in a marriage like that.
Yes.
What do you do when you have somebody who thinks, because then we talked about this, like they look at finances differently because of what they were raised in, but is this kind of going to help ease those to more alignment, or how do you see that happening?